Alright guys, today we're going to be doing another video talking about one of my favorite riding videos that I've ever done. This one I did for Monster in 2011. In March we started filming it. We went down to Spinner's Yard in Florida and we also filmed it at the Incline Club. That was fresh after the redesign, so I was so excited to ride that setup. But that video was so important to me because I did a lot of things that I did not expect to do in that video at all. Things that I didn't have planned out. I just kind of went with the moment and it actually worked out for me. So today we're going to go over some of my favorite clips from that video. I'm going to tell you guys why they're my favorite clips, because I know a lot of you guys like when I do this because it's been a while since I've been able to ride for you guys, you know, and my current situation, it's still going to be a little while until I'm able to ride. So I know that you guys enjoy this one, but it's also awesome for me to go back and look at my video parts and, you know, kind of relive those memories again. So today we're going to be doing that Monster video that I did, and we will start with the first trick. So the first trick we're going to be talking about is one that I did on the wall ride. I ended up going up and I did a lucky stall to toothpick to turn down in. So I was proud of that trick because I never seen anybody do that one before, and that one kind of came up on the fly and it worked out pretty well. So moving on to the next tricks, we're going to the Incline Club, and this is the fresh setup. As you could tell, it's cleanly painted in this video right here, and I ended up doing a couple in-between tricks, a couple filler tricks. I ended up doing the wall ride to manual around the top to tail whip. I ended up doing some stuff on the double. And I also did the wall ride up to a Bubaka to fakie in Brooklyn's Bowl. But one of my favorite ones that I did was when I did the 270 tail tap to over ice pick to back over fakie in Brooklyn's Bowl. Just doing an ice pick over was really difficult, but doing fakie was that much harder because you have to jump and pick up your back end and bring it completely over, and I was really proud of that trick. The next one we're going to be talking about is down in Florida. I did a truck driver to manual, and as I did the manual around, I was going to do a 180 in, and at the last second I decided to do a 180 bar spin, and it worked out. I ended up doing this one kind of on the whim. I was looking at this big wall ride setup, and I was trying to get creative, trying to think of something I could do different. You know, I was doing ice fix on it already at this point, but I wanted to do something a little bit more out of the box of my style, so I came up with the idea of trying to jump up it, do a double tire ride, and 270 into Brooklyn's Bowl. And to my surprise, I ended up getting it like first try, so that worked out pretty well. But the next clip is the craziest one that I did on that wall ride setup, in my opinion. I ended up in Brooklyn's Bowl, and I wanted to do an ice pick to over into the deep part, where the spine was. And it was real scary. It was terrifying, actually. So I ended up going up and doing a foofnu, landing in an ice pick, and then I leaned on over, and I went for the ice pick back in. And it was so high up compared to where the quarter pipe is, so when I had to drop back in, I had to jump up and free fall into it. I couldn't fall over it like a normal ice pick over. It was really difficult to do, but it led me into the next trick also. And I ended up going up over the spine, and I got all the speed, and there's a little quarter pipe that sticks out in between the 7-foot that we used to have at the skate park. And I ended up messing around with that transfer line over to the double. So what I ended up doing was doing an alley-oop 360, and I upped the ante by doing an alley-oop 360 tail up over it. It's a really big carve, especially for how wide that little quarter pipe is, meaning I had to come up on an angle and launch over from it, so that made it really difficult to do it because of how narrow it was, but it worked out perfectly. Moving on back to Florida, the next trick I want to talk about is my double tail up to opposite double tail up line. That was the first time I ever did opposite double tail up, and I ended up doing it in that line. Because I think it's important in a video to show how versatile you are as a rider. You know, not only just riding one thing, but showing that you could do tricks both ways as well. So I ended up doing the regular double tail first and the opposite double tail up on the second one. And that was 7 years ago, so I'm really proud of that clip. The next one's a quick clip we came up with down in Florida. There was a movable kicker. It was a really strange ramp, and we were trying to come up with a game plan of something we could do on it. There was one wall ride there, and I decided to put the kicker really far away from it and do a gap to wall ride, and it worked out really well, surprisingly. And that was probably the biggest gap to wall ride I've ever done in my life to this day. So the next trick we're gonna be talking about is at the Incline Club, and it was one of the hardest ones that I filmed for this video. I ended up using that new wall ride setup as creative as possible as I could. I went up all the way on the right side of the quarter pipe where the step up was, and I jumped up onto the middle one, double tire rode that, and then I jumped up, bunny hop, and landed on the skinny part of that top wall, double tire rode across that, and did a tail up in. That trick ended up getting me stitches. I ended up falling off the edge of the ramp, and I grabbed the top of the wall ride, and I felt something bite my finger, and through my glove there was a splinter that went through one side of my finger to the other, and I had to go to the hospital. They couldn't just pull the splinter out, they actually had to cut it open and remove the splinter. So that was like the worst part about filming that. So this next one we're going to be talking about is on top of the vert wall that was at the Incline Club. I ended up eyeing this thing up. I wanted to do a hop 360 into it, and I remember all the guys were hanging out there with me that day, and they were telling me, listen man, I don't think it's possible. As stubborn as I am, I got up there, I was like, I could do this. And I looked at the edge of it, and I knew it looked far, but I took my bike and I brought it to the end. I gave the cameraman the okay, and he was terrified for me at this point, planning on 360ing off of this. And as I started to pedal and I got to the end, I looked at it, and immediately in my head it told me that I wasn't capable of doing this 360. It was going to be too close to call, so I ended up jumping in, just doing a straight jump, but it was still an insane gap, and I caught so much speed after it. We ended up using that clip for the video, even though it wasn't the one that I planned on. The next clip is a bit of a technical trick that I did. We had this quarter pipe that was sticking up that was outside the 3-foot one that was in the street course. We ended up removing that, and a lot of the videos that you guys seen on the channel, it just has a regular quarter pipe. But at the time, it had no deck on it. It was really skinny. So I ended up using it, trying to get technical on it and creative as possible. I did double tire ride on the quarter pipe. I jumped all the way across the deck, did a double peg stall on the railing, hopped up to double tire ride, and then I jumped completely over the whole ramp back in. That was a fun one, and that was awesome to me because I want to be able to show versatility as a rider, and doing that one I thought was creative, and it was one of those things that would make you scratch your head and be like, what did he just do? So the next clip we're going to be talking about is the one that I'm most proud of in this video. It was at the Incline Club, and it was using that big wall ride setup. I was eyeing it up, trying to do something epic. I wanted to do something crazy for it, and we were talking about maybe jumping over it. So as I was game planning to jump over this thing, I was getting as much speed, going as high as I could on the spine, catching transition and speeding up to the wall ride. I tried to jump it once. I ended up jumping off the bike, and I realized that I couldn't do it because the quarter pipe was so close to the wall ride. It just wasn't enough gap to do it. So what I ended up doing was deciding to try to do a 180 over the top of this wall ride. I'm not known to be the 180 guy, but I am capable of doing big 180s. I used to do 540s over the box jump when I was younger. I used to do them almost on a daily basis, so I can land fakie. I'm really good at that stuff, but I don't do it that often. So I eyed up the 180, and it made sense to me. I tried this one probably 20 times, and it was so difficult to clear the wall with both of my tires and to get the back wheel to land back in the transition and to be able to land straight again after coming off of a blind setup. But it was definitely the coolest trick I did in that video, in my opinion, and it worked out awesome. I landed it perfectly clean, and in my opinion, I think that one should have been the last clip in the video, but the guy that was filming and editing, he thought that the last clip should have been the next one that we're going to be talking about, which is one that we did down in Florida. There was a random kicker that was put on top of the deck, and it was kind of a step down. It was only 3 foot tall, and then it stepped down about 6 feet altogether, and then there was about a 15-foot deck on it that went to another landing. I ended up backflipping it in the beginning of the video. After a little bit of thinking about it, I decided to try to do a flip whip over it. And at that point, that was the lowest ramp I ever did a flip whip off of, so it was really scary. So I ended up doing the flip whip. It worked out perfectly. I landed it smooth as could be, and I was really proud of that trick as well. But that video altogether I did for Monster Energy in 2011. I was really proud of where I was with my riding at that point, and it was awesome to be able to get the opportunity to do a banger video like that. And there was so many people in BMX that were excited about that video when it came out. My friend Justin Cosman actually had a big video premiere for his hunt video that he did, and he used that video to be shown in front of everybody as well. So I was really proud of that one. It's awesome to go back and look at all these video clips and to relive those in my memory again, because I miss BMX. I miss being able to ride like I used to, and you know what? I know it's going to be a really long time until I get back to where I'm riding, but I am enjoying myself right now, and I love these little steps. You know, even doing that grind a few months ago, that was like such an epic moment for me.
Scott, you got this. First tee. First tee.
excited just to be back on my bike and to be doing a trick again. But every single day we go out there to a skate park, I'm still bringing my bike with me because I want to get better. I want to start pushing myself, but I have to be smart at the same time. I got to make sure that I don't hurt myself again. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was awesome to be able to share these clips with you guys. If you guys want to watch the video, you guys can go to Monster Energy's YouTube account and you guys can go check it out for yourself. So until next time, guys, remember to subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching. Peace.